Heavy rain and major flooding is causing inundation of homes, properties and businesses on parts of the mid-north coast, and unfortunately further heavy rainfall is on the way. We can see what's been causing that over the last 12 hours. We're seeing persistent and widespread heavy rainfall streaming in off the coast, particularly between Newcastle and Grafton. And we saw the heaviest falls around the Taree, Port Macquarie, Kempsey and up through Coffs Harbour into the 24 hours to 9 o'clock this morning, where we saw widespread falls of 100 to 200 millimetres, and inland areas saw falls up to 300 millimetres, including around Mount Seaview, which recorded 319 millimetres in the 24 hours to 9 o'clock this morning. And that's on top of all the rain we saw yesterday. So that means in areas across much of the mid-north coast highlighted here have seen two-day totals of 200 to 400 millimetres. And that is what is leading to widespread and significant major flooding. As we stand right now, major flooding is occurring on the Nambucca, the Macleay, as well as the Hastings, the Manning River, the Gloucester River and the Patterson River, as well as minor to moderate flooding extending from inland of Sydney all the way up towards the Grafton area. And that's because we've seen heavy rainfall, and unfortunately further heavy rainfall is on the way. And that's why we have a severe weather warning current for heavy to locally intense rainfall from around the Yamba, Evans Head area all the way down the coast to around Forster. Now that does include the already flood affected communities of Taree, Port Macquarie, Kempsey and up towards Grafton, and extends inland towards the ranges as well. What this means is forecast rainfall in this yellow highlighted area is likely to lead to further flash and riverine flooding, and intense falls could lead to localised, dangerous and deadly flooding as well. So please, if you live in this highlighted area and live on any rivers, creeks and streams, make sure you stay up to date with the latest forecasts and warnings via our website, app and social media, and listen to all advice from emergency services. Now let's look at the rainfall in the coming days. Unfortunately, further rainfall is likely to continue across much of the mid-north coast today and into tonight, thanks to this stationary trough. Then that rainfall will continue on Thursday as it spreads across inland areas of New South Wales and also south along the New South Wales coast as well, while persisting across our already flood-affected areas between Newcastle and Grafton. But then later on Thursday, a low-pressure system will develop on that trough, and then that'll start moving southwards as we move through Friday morning, finally clearing out that rainfall to the mid-north coast Friday morning, the Hunter Coast by Friday afternoon, and then the central and southern coast of New South Wales by Friday night. But unfortunately, before that, another widespread 100 to 200 millimetres is forecast for our flood-affected areas. And then as you can see, that rain spreads westwards and southwards through Thursday and Friday, and we could see 50 to 100 millimetres through much of the New South Wales coast down to the Victorian border, and some welcome rainfall for inland areas of 20 to 50 millimetres. But of concern is the additional 100 to 200 millimetres on our flood affected areas. And that's why we have severe weather warnings current for heavy to locally intense rainfall between Yamba and Evans Head down to Forster, and including our inland locations. And we already have many major flood warnings current for much of the mid-north coast as well. And further rainfall will likely lead to prolonged major flooding and increasing flooding on many of our rivers in the Upper Hunty and the mid-north coast. So please, with all this wet weather on the way and still to come, make sure you stay up to date with the latest forecasts and warnings by our website and app, and listen to all advice from emergency services.